Well, good evening, class. And tonight we are going to be learning about the theory of multiple intelligence by Howard Caden, or Howard Gardner, sorry. Tonight's learning objectives are know and understand the theory of multiple intelligences. How can I utilize this knowledge into my classroom? So, to begin this, I feel like we should know who the man behind it is. The man behind it is Howard Gardner, who is an American developmental psychologist and research professor of cognition and education at the Harvard Graduate School of Education at Harvard University. He proposed this theory of multiple intelligence in the year of 1983, which basically he's saying that we all have these intelligence that we're about to discuss. Every person has these intelligences, and these intelligences help us learn and comprehend the curriculum and material that we will be learning. It's not just we're all auditory or visual or kinesthetic learners. There are multiple intelligences that help us learn. And that's what we're going to discuss tonight. So let's get rolling. First thing is, what are the intelligences? From my research, I've discovered that there are a total of 8 intelligences. We have linguistic intelligence, logical/mathematical intelligence, visual/spatial intelligence, bodily/kinesthetic intelligence, musical intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, intrapersonal intelligence, and naturalist intelligence. So let's dive in. What to know? The first intelligence that we're going to discuss is verbal linguistic intelligence. Okay, verbal linguistic intelligence has to do with words spoken or written. People with verbal linguistic intelligence display a facility with words and languages. They are typically good at reading, writing, telling stories, and memorizing words and dates. They tend to learn best by reading, taking notes, and listening to lectures and via discussion and debate. So, if you see any of these qualities in your students, more than likely they are verbal linguistic intelligence. Next, we have logical/mathematical intelligence. This area has to do with logic, abstractions, inductive and deductive reasoning, and numbers. It also involves computing skills, recognizing patterns and relationships, timeliness and order, and the ability to solve different kinds of problems through logic. It also involves more reasoning capabilities, scientific thinking, and investigation, and complex calculations. So if you see any of these characteristics within your students, more than likely they have a logical mathematical intelligence. Next, we have visual spatial intelligence. This intelligence involves visual perception of the environment, the ability to create and manipulate mental images, and the orientation of the body in space. They have strong visual memory and often artistically inclined. People with strong visual spatial intelligence are typically very good at visualizing and mentally manipulating objects. Some of the things that they like to do is create things on paper, comprehension of complex designs, strong suits in designing and creating. So if you see this type of intelligence within students, then more than likely this is what they are stronger in. Next, we have bodily kinesthetic intelligence. This involves physical coordination and dexterity, using fine and gross motor skills and expressing oneself or learning through physical activities. movement is key. In this category, people are generally adept at physical activities such as sports or dance and often prefer activities which utilize movement. They may enjoy acting or performing, and in general, they are good at building and making things. They often learn best by physically doing something rather than reading or hearing about it. Me personally, I feel like this is my intelligence because I love to work with my hands. I love to uh, build things. So for me, bodily slash kinesthetic intelligence is my strong suit. Next, we have musical intelligence. Okay, musical intelligence involves understanding and expressing one's self through music and rhythmic movements or dance or composing, playing, or conducting music. Also involves sensitivity to sounds, rhythms, tones, and music. So, a lot of students that love band would be considered musically intelligent, or if you notice, students that maybe create a rhyme or a song to learn a certain topic or material that you have been teaching in class. So this is music intelligence. Next, we have interpersonal intelligence. Okay, this area has to do with interaction with others. A people person, basically. People in this category are usually extroverts and are characterized by their sensitivity to others' moods, feelings, temperaments, and motivations, and their ability to cooperate in order to work as part of a group. So they really enjoy working and communicating with a group. So when it comes to projects, they want to work together with someone else, or when it comes to discussions, they want it to be in a group discussion. And so if you see any of this type of characteristics within your students, more than likely they have the interpersonal intelligence. The next intelligence is intrapersonal intelligence. This area has to do with introspective and self-reflective capacities. Those who are strongest in this intelligence are typically introverts and prefer to work alone. So, with this intelligence, it involves understanding one's inner world of emotions and thoughts and growing in the ability to control them and work with them consciously. So these type of people tend to work alone. They like independent projects, keeping a journal or diary, and just finding that quiet time and keeping to themselves. Our last intelligence that we are going to discuss is naturalist intelligence. This area has to do with nature, nurturing, and classification. This is the newest of the intelligences and is not as widely accepted as the original 7. So in this intelligence, it involves understanding the natural world of plants and animals, noticing their characteristics, and categorizing them. It involves observation and the ability to classify what was observed. So, some examples of this would be a student who likes to explore nature, collects, studies, and categorizes objects. So, with those 8 intelligences, what are your thoughts? What can you take away from this experience, this PowerPoint? Do you see these intelligences in your students? And can you help them grow in them to better their education? These are some thoughts to think about after viewing this PowerPoint presentation. I myself have done a lot of thinking, and I have several students who portray these intelligences, and I'm going to do my best to help them grow in each of their strongest ones, but also help them grow in their weakest ones. So I encourage you as educators to do the same.